Okay, I have it. I'd like to call to order the Groveland Township Regular Board Meeting. This time it's on October the 19th. And just for everybody's information, this is the meeting that was originally scheduled last Monday, but because the court overruled the governor's executive orders, we couldn't do what we're doing here today. So we postponed it for a week and amended the laws, and we can't do it this way again. So I'd like to call the meeting to order, and if everybody would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and for all.
You see it. Okay. Danielle, would you take roll call, please?
Yes. Bob DePalma,
I'm here.
Patty Back,
Here.
Shelley Kidd,
Here.
Jim Christopher,
Here.
Gina Muzzarelli. Here.
Okay. Everybody received a copy of the agenda for the 13th, and do you have any questions or comments on that? I was okay with it. I think we had a few minor typos we fixed on it.
The agenda? Or
I mean, yeah,
where are you?
the minutes, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, we need to approve the agenda first, and I have something I'd like to.
Oh, okay, you want to add it to tonight's agenda first? Okay.
Yes, I'd like to add to discuss pay increase for the election administrator.
Okay. You want to put that
Yeah, you
Under
can put
B?
it under new business B.
B? Okay.
And also, I'd like to make a correction.
Okay.
On Haya, I accidentally said 33,000 or 33,000. I meant to say 3,300.
What page is that on?
That is on page 5.
Oh, she's on the minutes. Okay,
Uh,
let's, okay, Shelley, give us
Yeah.
we need a motion.
A motion to approve the agenda.
The
is submitted
agenda,
with the
and then
amendment.
we'll go to the minutes, okay?
Okay.
So,
I'll motion to approve the agenda
Okay.
With the change.
With the
with a change.
addition.
Sir, all in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, it passes.
Who's, did you,
I think you did.
I support,
Shelley motion, Patty, you support?
yes.
And then next is the approval of the minutes for September the 14th and the fire board minutes meeting.
Also in there are the election commission minutes, I believe.
Yep.
So that should be added to, yeah. September 14th Township and Fire Board
Yep.
and Election Commission.
Okay, is there a motion to, or you want to make the motion to approve those?
I'll motion to approve. Does anybody have any other changes before we go here?
I had the Haya.
Right, I'll
Okay.
motion to approve the minutes with the correction to the Haya for, was it 33?
3,300.
Okay. Thank you. Is there a second to that?
I can second.
I'll second it.
Any questions or comments from the committee? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, done with that then. Next is the financials, budget amendments. Betty, did you have anything you wanted to
I
add?
have no budget amendments at this time. We're still young, sort of, to say, into our budget. As far as the accounts payable, $146,832.26 from 101, 2,710.
Excuse me, why is mine say 149?
I'm not sure. Because it was.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you were doing the first line. My fault. Never mind. I misread it. I was looking at the total.
But I believe the total,
149.
He's right.
yes,
Yeah,
is
I'm sorry. I
correct.
looked at the wrong place.
I had to look again. Now you made me.
I'm sorry.
Okay, it's all right. You go forward. $2,710 was paid out of 249. 134.50 was 701 for a total of $149,676.76 accounts payables for 101. And for fire, it was $44,665.15. And my motion is to accept the accounts payables as submitted.
Sir.
I'll second it.
Okay,
Did you-
Seconded by Shelley.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments from anyone on the board? If not. all
No.
in favor- I'm sorry, what was that, Shelley?
No.
Okay, if not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Jim, are you with us?
No, I said aye.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Are
Okay,
you
then
there?
everybody approved it, okay. Next item is financial reports for general and fire.
And I'm gonna motion that we accept the financial reports as presented for township, building, fire, as presented. That's my motion.
Do we need a roll call on the accounts payable or no?
Oh, we do, because
Yes,
it's
I'm
money.
sorry.
Thank you, Janelle. Dan.
Bob Palma,
Yes.
Patty Back,
Okay, yes.
Shelley Kidd,
Yes.
Jim Christopher, Gina Musarelli.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, then
Financials.
financial reports, right there.
Yes. So my motion is to accept the financial reports as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
I'll second it.
Any questions or comments from the board? If not,
No.
okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
No money. All opposed? There's no money being paid. Okay, then investment reports, Shelley, do you want to do anything on that?
Yes, everybody should have received the August and the September investment reports. And also, well, things haven't really changed much except for rates are still going down. I actually seen a 0.5%, which is very good. But other than that, we still have money in the bank, so we're good.
Just unfortunately now, there's no interest on anything. That's a shame, but,
Not very minimal, very minimal.
okay, thank you. Okay.
You're welcome.
We have nothing on the agenda. Under presentations, we do have a presentation today from Mike Donovan from Oakland County Parks and Recreation. So Mike, we'll turn this over to you now, and you can give us the presentation on the request that's on the November ballot for the millage.
Thank you, Mr. De Palma. With me today, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Millage screen? Okay. With me tonight is our illustrious leader of the Everything ORV, John Noyes, with the parks and everything. He's going to be taking any questions that you might have in regards to Oakland County Parks, even something with the park itself out at Holly Oaks. But tonight, I want to thank everybody for allowing us to come before you and present a millage awareness of what the Oakland County Parks and Recreation millage is for 2020. And just appreciate you allowing us to be here tonight to do that and to kind of present some facts and information that you can also share with your constituents if questions come up. And we also have at the end of the presentation a website to go to for a toolkit of sorts for a whole bunch of things, electronic Facebook frames and all these trinkets and things for internet that I'm not so familiar with, all available for folks to take a look at. So with that,
Mike,
yes.
real quick, I'm going to ask everybody that's not talking to mute because there's a lot of feedback, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So Oakland County Parks and Recreation millage this year. Just a recap as kind of a summary of Oakland County itself. As everybody knows, we have large ecosystems within our county, both aquatic and land. And this township is no different. We know that this township, Groveland Township, comprises much of it recreational lands for Oakland County. But here's some statistics on county in general. As with the four different levels of parks in our county, we comprise about 90,000 acres of public land, which is quite a bit. And I was just doing some numbers. That's about 10% of our county is within, public lands, and that's a pretty good level there. Oakland County, which is our county park system, we comprise of 14 parks, and that 14th park, as we all know and love, is Holly Oaks out here on Dixie Highway and next to Mount Holly. We're nearly 7,000 acres of land within the parks. And up until COVID, we had about 2 million visitors a year. I could tell you, we were looking at some numbers the other day, and we're about 52% of that for visitors this year, simply because our water parks and some of the features, some of our recreational opportunities weren't open to the public. We do a lot of public outreach through our Recreation Program Services Department, 1.9 million. All this is run by 75 full-time staff. And it's also along with over 700 part-time staff. And we get the springtime, our seasonal doors are like revolving doors with 700 part-time staff going in and out. And this is part-time staff from the ages of 16 all the way up to 75, 80, helping out in the park system. So and with that, we also have nearly 1,000 volunteers. So we have a lot of effort, a lot of management within the 7,000 acres. Last 10 years, we've done a lot of improvements with the parks. And I want to say, that's part of my purview with the park system. I'm Chief of Park Facilities Maintenance and Development. I oversee all the capital and maintenance projects within the park. We have some of the improvements that we've brought in are listed on the screen. I don't want to bore you with reading through all of them, but I do want to point out 2 of them. One of them I'll get back to a little later in the presentation, but Normandy Oaks is a partnership we went into with Royal Oak Township this past year or year and a half, I believe, in developing a park down in Royal Oak in the southeast quadrant of the county. And of course, Holly Oaks, I wanted to highlight that being in Groveland Township. We've also increased our RAP program over the years, which is the Recreational Assistance Partnership Program, RAPP. I think I got that right, John, don't I? He's shaking his head, yes. So that's support to our local communities for all of our stages, mobile units, things that will help take your community outreach to the next level. We're there to be a partner in that. Historical perspective, back in 1966, when the voters approved the park's millage, it was at 0.25 mils. We had 1 park and 190 acres of land. And currently we are 14 parks, nearly 7,000 acres of land with a 0.23 mils because of the Headley rollback. So we're managing our park system with less money than we did in 1966, and we got a larger park system. I want to point that out because that's very important in what we're asking for this year's millage and stuff. So, or this millage that's coming up on November 3rd. Some of our financial picture, just to kind of look at it, we've identified in our park system over $20 million in deferred maintenance. This is maintenance to our existing facilities. We have over 230 facilities within our park system that require maintenance, from roofs, windows, doors, pavements, things along that lines that have been installed. And we have a 54-year-old park system. So having all those facilities and maintaining all those facilities is quite a challenge, especially with a shrinking capital budget, and trying to balance our funds through, every year we've been balancing our operating budget with planned use of fund balance. And that dips into our savings account, or that's what I like to call it, the net position. And don't let the financial guys hear that when I say savings account, but that's basically what Shelley, you can close your ears too if you like on that one. But we don't want to dip into that. And we're trying to maintain our policy for planned use of fund balance, but yet still maintaining what we have. Every so often, and I'd like to say it's regular, every 5 years, we go out for surveys within the county, and we do a statistically correct survey in polling residents and asking them questions. And these are some of the top 10 things that the respondents are most willing to fund. And if you notice, I already mentioned maintaining what we have, fix up and repair older structures, roads, parking lots, and stuff like that. Last 3 years, 100% of our capital budget and our maintenance project budget has been dedicated to just maintaining what we have. But of course, there's other things for trails. Trails is always number one on anybody's list for walkability and connectivity. I am definitely not going to read through this millage language. It is on the ballot. It's available for your perusal. And I think Patty, I gave Patty a copy of this presentation, so it's on there, but you can kind of see the exact legal request for the millage. But we are requesting an increase or replacement millage this year. We're requesting to go to 0.35 mils. And that's going from our 0.23 mils to 0.35. So that's what's on the ballot for this year. We have several things available on our website for outreach and factual information for folks to go get. This is a poster that we put up in all of our park system to kind of show you what that is. And with this 0.35 mils, you know, there's always, we just don't want to see it as a replacement. We want to also increase what we offer for the communities. And if there is a favorable vote in November 3rd, we're looking at free vehicle passes for seniors, veterans, active military, and persons with permanent disabilities. That's a big thing in getting people into the parks too as well. The other exciting little part of this thing is the grant programs that we're looking to offer local CVTs. So, you know, how we go and apply for grants from the state level, well, CVTs can also apply then through the county park system. So, and we'll be able to go for trails and different things along that for local park improvements. And of course, increased programmatic outreach. And the other thing that is really exciting part of this millage, if it receives a favorable vote, is that it'll help us solidify the CISMA, the Collaborative Invasive Species Management Areas that I believe Groveland Township is part of as well. And it'll help house that under Oakland County Parks so that we can address our invasive species, not just in our park system, but across jurisdictional boundaries. So that's pretty exciting too as well. And that 0.35 will help us to that end. A lot of times I get this question from residents is, okay, you know, it's an increase. In fact, I have a resident in Groveland Township that said to me, he doesn't vote for increases, he votes for better management. And what does that mean to me? And I asked them to read my email and go through all that stuff. But for a home that's got a market value of about $200,000, that's about $35 a year. And just to give you, for instance, our 0.25 or 0.23 mils, it's about $24 a year. So we're asking for, did I do the math right? $25 a year, because we're asking for basically a $12 increase annually for this millage on a $200,000 market value home. I said to my friend, just read into this. Here's some facts, and hopefully I swayed his mind to the other end. But we're here to create that awareness of what this means for our actual constituents. So again, just wanted to say, vote, get out there and vote, pass this information along with your constituents, share the presentation, if you will. There is this website that's on the last page, has a plethora of information for you that you can download. There's even a draft email that you can send out to family and friends, you know, telling them the facts about this millage and why we're asking what we're asking. Again, I'm Mike Donnellan, and again, John, I didn't give you a word in edgewise. You didn't even get a chance to jump in there. So I apologize greatly. I would like just to open up if there's any questions, Bob, Patty, you know, Shelley, Gina, if you got any questions, I'd like to entertain them.
So Mike, you did such a good job. All John has to say is yes.
That's right.
Very well done. Thanks, Mike.
No problem. I'm
Thank
out
you.
the door. I'm going to be out the door locking the gates at the ORV park now. So if there's no further questions. Thank you again for allowing us to come tonight.
Do you have, just out of curiosity, do you have a poster of this for this campaign or something that you want to put up here?
Yeah, back in the, if you go to that website, Bob, there's these posters you can print out from the website and stuff, but we can get you some for the township to put out.
Come on, we'll put a couple on the door there.
Okay,
We have,
I'll make sure I get some over to you.
yep, we got them already. Thanks. I didn't realize that. Thank you.
Oh, awesome.
Patty's got it.
Thank you, Patty.
Welcome.
Anything else?
Anybody?
Just if I could just sidetrack a little bit, John, could you and I talk tomorrow about the ORV park a little bit? Could you give me
Oh, yeah.
a chance?
Yeah, anytime would be fine.
I went there on the weekend. You call me whenever it's good for you, and I got a couple ideas I wanted to run by you.
I love it. I say bring it on.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
Okay. Thank you all.
You.
Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, next item on the agenda is, I have nothing under unfinished business, so we'll move right into new business. And the first thing is to discuss the MERS for clarification. MERS has got a process that they have decided internally to send out documents to every participant member they have that kind of confirms their understanding of the way your pension plan is applied in your particular municipality. And so they sent a whole litany of some forms to us, and the board members have got them in their package. But Patty and I looked at it and called Sue Feinberg, our representative, and went over it. And it all seems to be consistent with what we've been doing all along. So they just need us to do a motion to approve it. It's, part-time people are not in the pension plan. Pension calculations are done only on base pays. It's that type of stuff. And so it was all consistent with what we've been doing. And they're sending these to every participant they have. And so I think we need to do a motion or a resolution
And
and a motion to approve the documents as submitted by MERS as being consistent with how the township has been administering the plan. So I guess that's my motion. So second.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Shelley. Any other questions or comments from the board? If not, all in,
I think we
let's
need
take
to
a roll call on it. We'll just make sure, yeah.
Patty Back,
Yes.
Shelley Kidd,
Yes.
Jim Christopher,
Yes.
Gina Musarelli,
Yes.
Bob
Okay.
DiPalma.
Yes, okay, thank you. That's just kind of a housekeeping issue. Next item is the one that we agreed to add at the beginning. And Patty, do you want to cover that, a raise
Yes.
for the elections support?
Yes, as many of you know, the election is, I don't know how better to say it, on steroids. It's like huge, a lot of extra work than what we've done in the past, a lot of extra steps. Several things have been added that we haven't had before. So I'd like to motion to raise Janelle Keller, who is our election administrator, from $15 to $17. She has grasped it, taken it on. I can't tell you the number of times she has made a phone call to the state for issues and proofreading and things that go on all behind the scenes that have been necessary, and she has done an outstanding job. So my motion is to raise the Janelle Keller, our election administrator, from $15 to $17.
And that is hourly, so it just.
Yeah,
Hourly,
this
yes,
is
I'm
part-time.
sorry.
yeah.
Right,
Hourly,
yeah, okay.
yes.
So as the workload changes, so does our output
Yes.
monetarily.
Yes, yes, yes. And it has been a workload.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So
I
that's
was
my
here the day that you
motion.
couldn't find the chocolate.
Oh, yeah,
Is there,
fast enough.
is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
I'll second it.
I think Jim,
Jim.
yeah. Okay, Jim.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments from the board? And if not, Danielle, could you take a roll call on it?
Shelley Kidd,
Yes.
Jim Christopher,
Yes.
Gina Musarelli,
Yes.
Bob DiPalma.
Yes.
Patty Back.
Yes.
And let me get to the next item on the agenda is to discuss the resolution 2020-17. Let me get, I got it stuck behind these forms here. Hold on.
Do you want me to talk on this?
Is this one for the speed on gravel road?
No, this is the one we need to appoint
Designate.
you.
Oh, yes, why don't you? That's one idea.
So 2020-17 resolution is to appoint Bob and designate him to be our signer on all, what do you want to say?
CARES Act.
CARES Act agreements going forward with the county and so forth. So my motion is we appoint Bob as the designated signer for the interlocal agreement for the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act distribution.
We had approved this resolution.
Yes.
We just forgot to approve me to sign it. And so when we sent it in, they sent it back and said you need to approve somebody to sign it.
Yes.
That's the reason this was brought up. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? And there's no money on this, so all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we're done with that one. This next one, 2018, let me explain what's happened. About 12 years ago, we used to have about a dozen or maybe even 18 sections of gravel roads in the township that were posted 25 at residents' request. There were only 2 counties out of the 62 counties in the state of Michigan that had that. And at that time, the state police who managed the traffic code for the state of Michigan came back and said, you shouldn't be doing that. It should be the same as every place else in the state, which is the unposted gravel roads are 55 conditions permitting. And so there was a lot of upset people at that time. The ones that had the 25 posting didn't like it. It wasn't something the township initiated. This came down from Lansing. And all those signs were taken away. And at that time, a lot of the supervisors had complaints. I think we wrote some resolutions, tried sending them in. They came out and did some roadshow explanations on how they do speed limits, and basically it stayed that way. Now we have some supervisors in office that are not the same ones that were in 12 years ago when this happened. And so they still get complaints from residents. And I get them periodically too that say, I think they're speeding too fast on that road. Can't we post it differently? And the answer is the way it's written now, no, you can't. So at 2 supervisors' monthly meetings ago, the supervisor and independents asked if we could all do a resolution and support having an option to change some speeds. I'm just being honest with you. This is a rerun of basically what was tried 12 years ago. And I have serious doubts that it would have any change on it, but they do want to see if they can run it up the flagpole with the legislators in Lansing in unison. One of the problems I found out today when we were talking about it at the supervisor's lunch today is some of the municipalities have decided not to do it because they have almost no gravel roads left. I think that was Commerce. And in the case of Brandon, I think they tabled it because I don't think they were sure what they wanted to do yet. And I know that when we were just discussing it, this figure isn't verified, but Bruce and Addison said he thought he heard that it's about 70 grand to buy the speed limit signs to do a township. Because if this gets approved and if we were to do the changes, the township has to buy all the signs. And the part of the resolution, if you read all the way through it, is that any speed, they want to basically lower them to 45. And if you want less than that, you have to get a speed study. If anybody's tried to get a speed study or remembers any of the previous explanations we've had, there's about a 2-year waiting list on getting a speed study because there's only 1 or 2 officers up in Lansing that do it for the whole state. So typically when a municipality asks for a speed study on a road, it might take 2 years till they actually get around to doing it. There's just not anybody else doing it. So I think, I guess I would suggest, since we know some people would like the option, that we probably adopt the resolution that we pirated off of another municipality. And a couple of other communities are doing it this week, and then they're going to try and send them up to Lansing. It's worth a shot. I just don't want to give anybody the false impression that I think this is going to be a slam dunk when we ask, because it's kind of been done at great effort before, and it wasn't able to be done. I'm not sure what would change it, and I'm a little bit apprehensive that some of the municipalities want to change the language, so it won't even be like 20 townships with the same exact language. It'll be 20 townships with kind of similar language, but not exactly the same. But I think we should do it at least to support the idea to the legislators that we are trying to do that and see if they can come up with something. So that's my suggestion.
I want to make a clarification that the resolution that was written and posted has been revised. There's nothing different in it other than where it says townships or charter/townships.
Yeah, we caught that.
I went through and had to read townships. So that's the only change. The new one is what will go on as a resolution, so on and so forth. Okay?
Who's the township zoning or meeting?
Hello?
Hi, Donna.
I just muted her. She's talking with Kim.
Oh,
Okay. Are there any questions or comments on this?
So basically what Sergeant Morningstar described to us all is still,
That's the way it works.
okay.
And it's been that way for almost forever. Okay, if there are no other questions or comments, then my motion would be that we approve the resolution that Patty typed up, where we corrected it to include general law townships, not just charter townships.
correct.
And pass that on to OCATs and to our state and senator and
Yes.
representative.
Okay.
Okay, is there a second to that? Gina seconded. Okay, if there are any other questions or comments from the board? If not, can Shelley still comment, or is she muted?
No, Shelley should be able to.
I can hear.
Oh, okay, I just want to make sure you weren't being excluded. I'm sorry. Okay, if there are no other questions or comments that are all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we'll send it on its way and see if anything happens with it. Next item is under the miscellaneous discussions. Excuse me. And so first would be youth assistance. Shelley, did you have anything you wanted to report on that?
Yeah, we had a short meeting. Ladies' night will be November 14th. Location is still to be determined. And then also, the county has given a grant for free lunches to anybody from K through 12, regardless of the income. So if anybody's needing that, they can apply for it. And then also in the first week of November, HIA will be holding their HIA board elections. And then also school supplies, if anybody's needing school supplies, they have until the end of the month to submit an application for that. And then Easter Seals paid for some new resource cards, which are basically the cards for suicide prevention, bullying, a few other things, but they also added on human trafficking onto it, and they hope to distribute it to every single student, police department, fire department, teachers, so that that information is out there readily available to anybody. And as always, we still need mentors, but other than that, that's about it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Patty, you have anything for Brandon?
Yes, I do. As Shelley said, the resource cards, they also are like suicide prevention, help, things like that. And Knights of Columbus has paid for them for BGYA. Also, there was in the village, as far as trick-or-treating, I think I've heard there is trick-or-treating. And following that, instead of having a bonfire, they're going to have a movie in the village, and it will be held at ballparks. BGYA is sponsoring that also. Other than that, right now, that's about it.
Okay, there's nobody could do anything because of COVID. That's
I
why.
know, we're kind of.
Okay, next would be Planning Commission. Jim, did you have anything you wanted to report, PC?
Yeah. We have a new member of the Planning Commission. Her name is Jenny McKay, and we welcomed her. And also, the Planning Commission granted a special use permit now for 3 years. So this is extended to, I can't do the math, 2023, and that's for Rotten Manor. And those were among the 3 topics. There's another topic where Gina brought up, gave us a little bit of a dissertation on Airbnbs and what they mean and how they're regulated, because I think we've got some work to do on that over the next year or two in how we regulate them here in the township. That's a synopsis.
To that note, Jim, I got some stuff that came in an email to me the other day, and I passed it on to Jenny Sevigny so she could take a look at it too. It was directly on the subject, had some comments, and I thought it would be helpful. Okay.
Great.
BZA, did we have anything? I don't think there was a meeting, was there, Gina?
No, not this one.
Okay, for supervisors, I got a few things I want to report on. Actually, we had, believe it or not, an extremely good OCAT supervisors lunch today, and the guest speaker didn't show up. But it was exceptionally good because I got 4 or 5 things that I think are very pertinent to us that helped. First of all, before I get into that, I noticed I got today for dinner that some of you may have gotten, I don't know if you can see this, a map like this in the mail and a letter with it from the Water Resource Commission in Oakland County. If you live on a piece of property that's attached in that drain area, the township has an old class 4 farm drain, chapter 4 farm drain, called the Pattison Drain. That's what you picked on that brochure. And if you're in that basin, those were installed decades ago for the farmers to kind of take the excess water off the field so they could farm them. But the chapter 4s don't have a regular annual fee on them typically. When the drain commissioner decides that a piece of it needs to be cleaned or modified in some way, then he does an assessment to everybody in the district, which is shown on the red area in here. And based on their area you have in there, you get an assessment on your property tax bill that year. In the past, I'm just kind of on the tail end of it. I don't think mine have ever been more than, I don't know, 10 or 15 bucks is all I can ever remember. But some people have 40, 50 acres that would get flooded. They might get several $100s in that Pattison Drain. So if you got one of these love letters in the mail today, that's what it's about. It's telling you that they're looking at that Pattison Drain. So you got probably one of the parcels inside the area of the drain, and it tells you about the hearing they're going to have at the county if you want to go and make comments on it. I'll be honest, I've never done anything. The fees typically are pretty low for most of us, and it's for maintenance work on it. So if they don't clean it out periodically, it ends up flooding out and then washing out somebody's property or the road or what have you. So if you got that today, don't be surprised if you're in the drain this time you ever got one. The other things I wanted to mention is I found out today that under the COVID-19, and this is really for chief for the fire department, if we have any personal time off during that time frame, that can also be submitted for reimbursement under the COVID. But you have to get it in before an early date in December. And I would suggest if you've got any that you think apply. Oh, have you? Okay. The other one is I found out they were buying Lucas, the defib units and Orion with them. Really? Yeah. It's a surprise to me today. That's why I jotted it down. So if we need any of those Lucas units, you might want to look into that. And it's Orion that told me about it, but I think they're getting a couple of them as well. So that, and then the sewer meeting is moving along. We had a preliminary meeting. That preliminary meeting was us, Holly Township supervisor, and some of the engineers will talk about what's going to take place on the 28th for a form letter that we sent out to people that we think might be interested in the project. It's Too early to tell, but I think the 28th will give us some feedback for whether or not the project's going to go at all. What kind of surprised us in the preliminary call is they not only took in the area we talked about, they want to extend, running it all the way down Dixie to the mobile home park on the south end. And I think that's a bad idea because there's nothing in between. And they also want to go down Perryville, not to service Perryville, but just to get the M15 to do Ortonville and Brandon. And, you know, it's, the project's getting bigger and bigger. So we're going to try and find out on the 28th, really interested in this and see if we can get it sized right. They seem to think it's feasible, but they still have to get confirmation because when you do a sewer project, it's not just the REU, residential equivalent units, that you're assessed for tying in, but there are monthly charges from the Water Resource Department for managing the billing and the pump stations and stuff. So it's kind of early, but it is moving along. We might have a better idea late in October or sometime in November. That's still moving along. The other good piece of information that I got was I found out today that if you have an old gravel pit, we have a few of them, and you have that fine silty sand clay mix that's left when they rinse the material, the package it that they sell, that's the residue that they don't want. And I know in the case of Groveland Township, when Barry Bass originally took over our mining site, there was a huge section of it that was covered with several feet thick of that silty clay sand that normally a mining operation doesn't want. That material allows you to qualify as a brownfield site and get money for redevelopment and capture additional taxes back. So when we get ready to go beyond our municipal buildings, because they're tax exempt, we get past the fire station, I think we can use that brownfield approach to get help with the state in developing the rest of the property. So that's why I said it was a wonderful meeting. Nobody's ever told me we could get anything out of a gravel pit unless it had like spilled diesel fuel on it or, you know, something buried in it. Right? You know, so I think that's a real possibility for us going forward, and I felt pretty good about that. Those are the items I had for the supervisor's report this month. And, Patty, anything you want us to report?
Okay, well, I can talk plenty about ballots, and ballots. So, so far, we have sent out, which is a record number of absent voter ballots. It's probably approximately around 1,700 because we're receiving applications hourly, minutely, and we have had returned approximately at least half of those, about 850. So that's what's going on there. Also, today was the last day to register to vote anywhere other than in the clerk's office. So if you need to register to vote, please come into the clerk's office and we will help you and get you registered. I want to point out that we are strongly encouraging, if you have a ballot that you have not returned, please, we're again strongly encouraging you bring it. Either you can walk it into the office or there's a drop box as you walk towards the doors to enter the office on the right-hand side. It is marked with a sign that says AV ballots, drop box here with an arrow. The other thing I want to mention is the red box in the parking lot is the mailbox. That is not the drop box. We would prefer you to put them in the drop box.
And that's because they're secured at night.
They're secure at night, yes. A couple of other little pointers. If you have an AV ballot and you make an error, you please bring it into the office. We can have you fill out the proper paperwork. It can be spoiled. You can be reissued a ballot. Also, if you have a ballot and decide you want to vote at the polls walk in and vote, and all precinct 1, 2, and 3 will be open. You can take your ballot with you that day and surrender it to the election workers. And they will give you a new ballot that you can put directly through the tabulator. Or you can bring it in here and surrender it prior if you know you are walking in to vote in person. The other couple of things were, okay, the next one is there was discussion and it went to the Court of Appeals over the weekend, and it was overturned, the 14-day extension to turn your ballot in. All ballots must be turned in by 8 p.m. on November 3rd in order to be counted. That was, again, overruled. And let me see here. I think that just about covers it. Please, if you have any questions on election or voting, please call the clerk's office here, 248-634-4152. And you can ask for Janelle or Patty. We're happy to help you and answer your questions. We've also done a few YouTube videos on Facebook that have been there giving some information, and you can check out those. The next thing I have is just real quick. Anybody, if you know of anyone or if you yourself are interested in Meals on Wheels, please also call into the office and we can direct you to the people to contact for that service for Groveland Township. And I think that's it. That's enough, I guess. I'm good.
Get back to the elections.
Oh, no. Yeah, elections.
Shelley, is there anything you wanted to report on that we haven't covered yet?
No, I have nothing at this time. Thank you.
Okay. All right, if there are no further, first of all, can we make sure that all the people are unmuted? So if we have any questions or comments for public comment here before we move to the fire board? Is there anyone that has a question or a comment?
Bob, I have something in the public comment component.
Okay, Jim, go ahead.
I want to put forth that we have a meeting open to the community, perhaps call it a workshop, but I would like to talk about where we might want to go over the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years, maybe prioritized by years rather. Just some things so we can stay ahead of any potential problems or things that we don't see that maybe the community members do. Call it a workshop, call it a brainstorming session. I just think it would be a really healthy, positive thing to do, and wanted to throw it out to the board and anybody listening what they think about it.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea.
Wow,
I'd be
such overwhelming. I don't know what.
Good idea.
much, I'm thinking you're thinking similar to the master plan. You ask people what you want to see and that type of thing, Jim?
Maybe not so big and so well planned as Ben had done it. I could see this, the whole COVID thing messes me up in terms of having, getting a group together to brainstorm. But yeah, 25 people, I can't imagine we'd have much more than that. But
Jim,
talk
try and do it on Zoom.
I think Zoom's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah, 'cause we don't want to get anybody else sick, that's for sure.
And then we
Yeah,
can for educational opportunities across the board, not just township, people who are serving the township, but the community members as well. Maybe they want to learn about how tax, assessment, how to appeal or how we base that. We can get all kinds of good community input on that, from that.
Okay, Kevin's got his hand. Kevin?
Can you create on the website a spot where people can put suggestions?
Oh,
That's a very good idea.
Can we do that, Vinny?
I will look into that, yes.
It's a good idea.
But you
Get it consolidated before you.
What we should do is see if we could get that up on the website first, so we could get some
Some input,
suggestions.
right?
And then that could be the nucleus, Jim, for the first conference Zoom call on.
There you go.
I cannot do one directly in the website, but I can create something and link it.
To it?
Yes.
Yeah, just, just so that we get some idea what the first topics of interest would be there. Okay.
Yeah, everybody, I actually like what Gina said. I was on the tax board of review for a while, and much of the dialogue that we had with the community members centered around how to effectively make a petition, for lack of better words, to have your taxes reviewed. Anything, any video like that, man, that'd be great. So when people come in, they're not fearful.
I don't know
about that.
We've done that one in the past. I don't know if it's still downstairs in that library anywhere, but we could certainly do it, yeah.
Do an update,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's lots of topics that we can educate across the
I wanted to start it going. I thought it would be good.
Good idea.
I'm glad you mentioned it too, because I've been looking at some of the MTA online class offerings and wondering, is it feasible to spend the money, especially one person versus the entire township? There's really not a big difference anymore. They've lowered the prices, and it would make a lot of different topics available to all of us. And again, that could be disseminated through the community, because it's all planning and zoning and all kinds of different things they have right now.
Okay.
That's great.
Are there any other questions or comments anybody on the audience has? Hello? Is there any other questions or comments? Oh,
Hold on.
I like Jim Christopher's idea. That's a great idea, especially with none of us being able to actually come inside the township office and see the board members. I think doing that at least would develop some sort of sense of community and give everyone an opportunity to voice their interests,
Okay.
given the circumstances the last 6 months.
and they're likely to go on for a while, it looks like now, the more you listen to the news. So I agree with you, it's a good idea. Okay, anything else? Your other comments? Okay,
The last person that was
Yes.
spoke, can you tell me your name, please?
hello?
Okay,
I'm sorry,
what was your name so I can put you on the attendance list?
Alicia DiGirolamo, DiGirolamo.
Hi, Alicia.
Thank you.
Hi, Patty. I'm so sorry I haven't been able to attend the last few.
Oh, well, we're only doing them pretty much by Zoom, right? So
I know.
you're good. You're right where you belong.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, if there are no other questions, I'm sorry, is there somebody? If there are no other questions, and a motion to adjourn and reconvene for the fire board meeting would be in order.
I will motion to adjourn and reconvene for the fire board
Is
meeting.
there a second?
I'll second.
Comments from the board? All in favor, say aye.
Bye.
Okay. We're not sure who made that second.
I'll support.
It was,
Okay,
it
Patty.
was Donna Clinton.
All right. We're all here.
Here we
And
are.
we're reconvened for the fire board. So can you turn that over? So there. It's your meeting.
Bob,
Okay,
did
thank
you motion and Patty second? Adjournment?
Gina.
Gina motion, Patty second.
Hey, if you look at your packets, you'll see that we had 64 alarms in September, which is quite a bit down from the previous month, almost half. That gave us a previous year. Yes, I'm sorry. Okay. And that brings us to a total of 599 calls as of October 1st. The previous year we had 756. COVID has affected a lot of things. Hose testing has been completed except for the hose that's still on ladder 1. And we did that in-house. If you recall, we bought the pump beginning of this year, and we found that also was trained, so hose testing. And it worked out well. We Some of the hose that was, what's the word I'm looking for? It was no good last year.
It was not certified.
Not certified last year by the company. We pressure tested it and it worked fine. Some of them were because the locks didn't work. We repaired those. And we had several hoses that were manufactured before 1985, so we can no longer use those as primary hose, but they're still pressure tested. So we use them on our training fire and they work fine. Ladder one, we're still waiting on the estimate. They've taken, last time I talked to them was about a week and a half ago. They've taken the heads off and they're still looking at what they need to do on it.
I couldn't tell from pulling the head. I don't know.
He hasn't called me, so I'm guessing they're just been busy. The house burn went very well. We had approximately 18 sets, including some with fire, some without. Most importantly, there's no injuries, and we had some effective training for our people. Brandon, well, not Brandon, Knockfoot and the village brought brand new people in, so they've never been to fire, so very effective. Lieutenant Decker did an excellent job of training them. New phone system being installed this week.
That's the one that was burned out by the lightning, right?
And we've ordered the phones. We ordered them today, so they should be here shortly. But I've been in contact with the insurance company. I sent them several receipts. We found out this week that the garage door opener is also fried by the lightning, and we had them come out. Rico come out today to rehook up our copier / fax / printer. And we found out that the board and that was fried too. So that was a $1,400 estimate for that. $1,000. Tanker 2 is PM. We put new all filters and oil. We found that the shock absorbers were no good on there, so they replaced them. And they also did a DOT inspection, and they've agreed that they, I don't know, the last time we had a full DOT inspection on all vehicles, so they said they do it for $100 a truck, and they're willing to come out and do them all. So we're going to schedule that. The big sky well was repaired. Technically, there's really nothing wrong with it. It was just no power because no one was paying the bill. So we've assumed the bill, and I got the bill today for the first month, $21 a month. The Needham vent system, same thing with the lightning strike. That was taken out. They came out and repaired it. Ended up being just a capacitor, so I don't have a bill for that yet. They fixed we PM'd and the exhaust system was repaired on engine 1. That had rusted off and completely broke, separated, so that they replaced the pipe on that. Rotten Manor is going well. We've had a couple of medicals out there. We had a couple of medicals at ORV park this past week.
Yeah, I was there on Sunday when I was told somebody drove up the hill the wrong way while a motorcycle was going the other way, and they hit each other.
Okay.
Yeah, and he didn't want to go to the hospital, so we didn't take him. But
Really? Wow.
a lot of those people will probably, if they're able, they'll drive themselves. Engine 4, we fixed the primer on that. We painted it. We've done the body work. We've got some hose on it, and we took it over to Calypso's, and they're going to come out and label it.
And I have to say, you did a #1 job on that engine. Not only did you get a smoking price, and it has a fantastic pump, but you cleaned it up so it looks right now. And it was cosmetic. The truck was in good shape. It was just water had gotten under some of the paint and lifted it off, and Kevin fixed it fantastic.
I'm not a body guy, so
Well, it
certain
looks good
angles
to
you
me.
can see it, but it's a red
It's a red fire truck.
It's still red, so it's not brown and
We'll get it done in a rack.
and we did all the pump tests. Everything passed except for the engine 2, engine 3, and engine 4's primers were broken. So we repaired all of those. So now they're going to send us the paperwork saying that all the pumps tested fine. It was just the primers broken.
We had how many, about 32 or something, transports, I think. It's not on here, but
It's on your paperwork. And one of the residents donated a bunch of firewood to us, so we went and picked up most of that today. And we're doing real well on that project. No, this is down under 65. And other than that, just chugging along, trying to fix everything in Station 1. And, a lot of little projects going on.
Things seem to be going pretty good right now. Right?
Yeah, very well.
Got some people that are filling the ships and stuff now.
Okay, I actually went on vacation for 4 days. last
Yes.
week, and
Fantastic. Well deserved too.
Shopped.
And I hope to go hunting in November. We'll see.
Because you shopped.
My wife and her family shop. I drove.
Wow, sounds like a great vacation for you. Jim?
Yeah, Kevin, refresh my memory. We now have, I'm looking at my other computer over here. Do we have 2 full years of being, so to speak, on our own? In other words, I'm looking at 4 years of declining runs. And I'm just trying to figure out if you have any explanation for this pattern. I mean, they're dropping about 150 a month in October.
We are 2 years is correct for the on our own without the village runs. Also with the COVID, everyone's numbers are way down.
Okay.
So we did right around 1,000 last year. We will be less than that this year, but the revenue from the ambulance runs will be a little bit lower, but not that much. I projected 200 grand. It looks like we're tracking for about 180 grand this year. So it will be less, but also we had less in payroll because of the, not as unmade calls, things like that. So.
Oh, and the other thing was Brandon staffed up Station 3 about 1.5 years ago, partway through the 2-year period, right? And isn't Springfield not been calling as often? Maybe because
Well,
of COVID, I don't know.
everyone's call numbers are way down. So except unless you're down in the south, that in the beginning of the COVID runs, they're quite a bit higher, but up in this area, we were quite a bit lower.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No,
Are you there, Jim?
so no personnel changes.
Okay.
Nope, so that's it. That's it. Okay, if not, then if there are any questions or comments from the audience? Are they unmuted so they can?
Yep.
comment? Okay.
I don't know.
If not, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll support.
Any questions or comments from the board? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, everybody.
Good night, everybody.